Who was better? Well, since you opened for both back then, Discharge or Poison Idea? Who packed more power?
Um,
Why did Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin leave behind the overshoes that they wore walking on the moon? A, so future visitors would know they were there. B, because they felt they were possibly infected with moon bacteria. C, to offset the weight of the moon rocks they would be taking back. D, they took them off to transverse some rocky terrain and just forgot them there.
When I mentioned that when I was a boy and I took the last cookie, my mama said, knock me out. All of a sudden, everybody's rapping the LL Cool J lyrics. I'm trying to share some childhood trauma here.
You've got to question the effectiveness of the placemat system. Gee, I came here for the cheesesteak omelet, but dang if I couldn't use a good welding service while I'm at it.
Let's say I've got my baby and I'm going to a crowded room and it's full of strollers. If I have to put her in the corner for a few minutes, it's none of your goddamn business, Patrick Swayze.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.
Okay, episode 8. I know, let's get it out of the way. Everyone wants to know what's different about Mark. Not one, but 2 studded armbands. Hey, I'm as shocked as you people. So, at any rate, we went to a great show last night, did we not?
Yes. I was actually going to wear this dress, but it was like 37 degrees. This, by the way, is going to be my
MDF dress.
MDF dress, at least for, I'll have to figure it out.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be girl on fire this year. I'm very excited.
So last night we went to Nuclear Tomb, Deceased, and Coroner.
What
It's fantastic.
a show.
Sold out. Yep.
Yeah, I thought Nuclear Tomb was really good.
They're local, yeah.
Player. They're right here from Baltimore.
Yeah.
I like the way he's like, we know you're not here for us, but thanks for showing up early. I was really glad we got to see them.
They were really good. They were really good. Here's a picture of us with King Foley. Our shenanigans. Yeah. Of course, Deceased crushed it. They did a cover of I Spit on Your Grave by Whiplash, and I lost my fucking mind. Screaming like a banshee. It was great. Yeah.
Really excellent. And
A lot of stuff they played from the new album, of course, sounded great. And then we saw Coroner. Coroner are a very unique band. They're very Swiss and very bald. And they played, for the most part, they played the songs we wanted to hear. They played Mass Jackal. They played Semtex Revolution. They played Divine Step. They played Reborn Through Hate. But they also played like 3 or 4 songs from Grin, which I don't like. And they played Purple Haze. I was kind of like, really? You guys are like the whitest band around playing Purple Haze?
I thought it was kind of cool.
I always thought it'd be cool if instead of doing like the Beatles song or the Hendrix cover, Coroner, I could see them doing like a King Crimson cover.
Yeah.
You know, something a little angular. But hey, I'm not going to complain. It was a great show.
Yeah.
They kicked ass. They've been at it for what, like 50 years, I think?
Yeah.
Is it a 50-year thing?
It's top to bottom.
Yeah.
Great.
So no complaints
If
whatsoever.
they come near you, get out there. It's
and
well
wear
worth it.
not 1, but 2 studded wristbands.
And maybe you're on fire dress if it's not 30 degrees out.
Yeah, too fucking cold for that. Anyway, all right. So someone used the phrase tumultuous the other day. And I started to think it used to be perfectly acceptable to tell someone that you were going through a tumultuous time until that goddamn Alanis Morissette wrote that song. We were together during a very tumultuous time. Oh, shut your whiny Canadian mouth. I hate it.
She's also ruined, Isn't It Ironic for me? I can't use that anymore.
Have you ever like been looking for a knife and there's a lot of spoons? You'll never get past that one.
You know, and who hasn't been enjoying their day at Cape Canaveral?
Canaveral.
You know, watching a launch. God forbid someone happens to mention skyrockets in flight. In a flash, you've got every dad in a Hawaiian t-shirt breaking into a chorus of
Afternoon delight. We've all been there.
You know, yeah, you people are just so clever.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in starting up a decent-sized saltwater aquarium.
Hell yeah.
The minute I mentioned it would be cool to get a Bonnie head, you know, baby shark, I mentioned it one time, and suddenly everyone around me turns into a possessed toddler, singing that house-spawn nursery rhyme like it's a Gregorian chant. I mean, even parents on Instagram sing that horror show of a song.
Remember we found that toy for my daughter
Oh, yeah.
that just kept playing the Baby Shark, do
Yeah.
do do do, and we sent it to my ex. We're like, here, it's her favorite toy. Good luck sleeping tonight. I don't think it's a laughing matter. When I mentioned that when I was a boy and I took the last cookie, my mama said, knock me out. All of a sudden, everybody's rapping to LL Cool J lyrics. I'm trying to share some childhood trauma here. So last week, I was in Hot Topic and I was explaining to a friend that I wrestled a bear once. All of a sudden, I look up and the guy is behind the counter. Looks like he's going to pass out. Turned out it wasn't anything I said. It was just fumes from the eyeliner were getting to him. And then it got worse when I explained that I was asking Alexandria for a price check. I mean, they act really weird at Hot Topic.
So I'm at the local grocery store and I can't find anything. I asked the clerk for help, reading off my shopping list. Okay, so I need some black-eyed peas, corn, and a few red hot chili peppers. What the hell is so funny? I mentioned how much I enjoyed the cranberries here, and there was fits of laughter all around. These people are so loopy.
I don't get it. What's the problem?
I often wonder, in this era of near constant insurance company advertising, how many young people actually think that geckos can talk and with an English accent. I doubt many of them realize that the Amazon refers to a river in Latin America, not same-day delivery of a cell phone charger.
I think some folks would argue that one. Let's say I've got my baby and I'm going to a crowded room and it's full of strollers. If I have to put her in the corner for a few minutes, it's none of your goddamn business, Patrick Swayze. And one more thing, I have a really hard time. My windshield wipers are all worn out, and I have a really hard time driving in the rain. Visibility during thunderstorms is just non-existent. I've been thinking about, I would love those cool space-age windshield wipers. I wish they'd just get out of my dreams and into my car. What? What's so funny? Maybe Billy Ocean would have been great at writing jingles for Advanced Auto Parts. Did you ever think of that? Okay, you want to talk about our feature interview?
Our feature interview this week is with the one and only Duke of the motherfucking Delridge, Lord Zippy Blaine Cook, legendary frontman of the Accused A.D, Toe Tag, and the infamous Wicker Bar YouTube channel. Always great checking in with Blaine, and this interview does not disappoint, as we get into everything from the farts days with Duff McKagan, the Accused A.D's recent tour of Japan, steak grilling techniques, and even his affinity for wild costumes. Stay tuned for that.
Okay, this is a song from the newly reissued on vinyl Black Nasty album. This song is called Rat City. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcast. And for $6.66 a month, you get a tarantula with a rocket pack full of Mark and Stace.
We have everything up there from rock and roll book reviews, memoirs. Well, not our memoirs,
Box
other
set
people's.
reviews. Yeah.
We have box set reviews, reviews going back to some legendary albums that you might want to check out.
Some you might not want to check out.
Yeah, some of them we didn't like.
Gardening tips.
Yep, lots of cooking recipe tips. I love cooking in the kitchen, and I'll share everything I've learned with you. I mean, everybody's got to eat.
A tour of Mark's tattoos.
There you go.
An oldie but a goodie. Anyway, we really need your patronage. Costs a lot of money to keep the show going. Whatever we get from Patreon goes to help support the bands in the underground that we support.
We bought 2 t-shirts this week alone.
Yes, we did. We'll get more into that later. And my bottom lip is getting numb because I think it's time. Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
All right, I went
Blow
all
me away with
universal.
impossible trivia questions.
Went all space on your ass this time.
Okay, let's go.
What are true facts about Mars' 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos? A. Phobos is red like Mars and Deimos is blue-gray. B. Phobos is slowly getting sucked into Mars and Deimos is escaping into space. C. Both have ice caps that grow and recede, showing that they have 4 seasons. D. Phobos has liquid water that flows beneath the surface, while Deimos soil is poisonous to humans because it contains perchlorate, a substance toxic to humans.
I'm going to go with D because it's so specific.
Well, that is a true fact, but it's not about the moons. That's a true fact about Mars itself.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yep, the
Oh.
answer is that Phobos is slowly getting sucked into Mars and Deimos is escaping.
Okay.
So that's crazy. One day you wanted either moon.
Okay. So far I'm batting 1,000. Let's go. Number 2.
Which country has the biggest number of pink lakes caused by the salt-loving algae Dunella thanella? Is it A, Australia, B, Antarctica, C, Brazil, or D, China?
This is the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Earth Science Podcast. Lakes.
They're actually white pink.
By a certain type of algae. I'll say B, Antarctica.
That is the only continent that has 0. The answer is A.
You're resoundingly incorrect.
A, Australia.
Okay.
Australia has the most amount of pink lakes.
It seemed too obvious. Okay. Moving on. I'm just kicking ass here. Go ahead.
What jewelry store ran a campaign that purported diamonds to be the ultimate love and commitment symbol? They weren't always.
Okay.
Was it A, Tiffany's, B, Kay, C, De Beers, or D, Zales? Yeah, a long time ago it was the like the bride's birthstone, and then
Is it A, Tiffany's?
it is C, De Beers.
I haven't even heard of that place.
Their tagline is "A diamond is forever."
I think as they tell you the price and you got to go drink the beers. Okay, let's finish it up.
Coming up, we're back on moons again. Apparently, I was into moons
Very
this week.
astronomy adjacent, yeah.
Why did Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin leave behind the overshoes that they wore walking on the moon? A, so future visitors would know they were there. B, because they felt they were possibly infected with moon bacteria. C, to offset the weight of the moon rocks they would be taking back. D, they took them off to transverse some rocky terrain and just forgot them there.
I'm going to say D, they forgot them.
They actually had to take them off to offset the weight of the moon rocks. So they had to do math and they had to leave something there.
Moon rock, Stevie. All right, we kicked butt. This was Obnoxious Trivia. Boy, I look like a real intellectual when we do that. Okay.
Well, that was hard because on the Mars ones, I think all of the things were true about at least Mars.
That's why it's Obnoxious Trivia. Anyway, okay. It's time for our Snaggletoon, and this one I'm really proud of. I called it, It's All About Compensation. Now, we live in a strange world nowadays. Our poor attention spans are battered and bruised from being constantly bombarded by advertisements. It seems like the rule is to put an ad anywhere anyone's eyes may come to rest for a nanosecond. Not sure whether to admire the creativity of some of these ad placements or just drive to work with a paper bag over my head.
We talked about the annoyance of pop-up ads on last week's show, but there are so many more interesting places to place a Viagra logo or a Nike swoosh if you really think about it.
Start with billboards. Now, despite the technological breakthrough of the digital billboard, no more painters are required to paint over that shark fin on your Amity Island welcomes you sign. I just don't think these monoliths of yesteryear can stimulate our gnat-like attention spans from the highway. But it doesn't stop the personal injury lawyers. If you have ever taken a breath of oxygen, you may be entitled to compensation.
Restaurant placemats. This advertising idea has all but fallen to the wayside, save for some diners in New Jersey. But I always found them intriguing. Real estate brokers, tax services. You've got to question the effectiveness of the placemat system. Gee, I came here for the cheesesteak omelet, but dang if I couldn't use a good welding service while I'm at it.
The side of a bus? I'd have to imagine that the side of a bus ads cater to a very particular audience. Seems unlikely that anyone would be pimping Whole Foods markets or Sephora makeup on the side of a transit bus. I think maybe Big Jim's bail bonds would be a more likely winner for the public transit crowd. Or perhaps, if you've ever blinked or owned a left foot, you may be entitled to compensation. One of the more aggressive ads I encountered was at a sports arena. I can't remember which one, but it was in the men's room. A huge sign had been painted above a wall of urinals, and it said, "Weak flow? Call Potomac Urology." Where do I get a pen to write this down while I'm urinating? It's a bit of a challenge.
They also put them, on the back of the ladies' room stall doors, because you're at eye level and you're just staring into the void while you pee. I guess you may as well read an ad. Doctor's offices are a strange choice. Gee, I was worried about this rash that won't go away, but now I'm thinking if I just call Chad's RV Rentals and take advantage of that 0% financing deal.
Yeah, you don't want to let that deal get away. Yeah.
I'm going to lose money on this.
Similarly, in some of the seedier rock clubs, bands will put their stickers on the inside wall of urinals, hoping you'll remember their moniker. Never seemed like a good idea to me, as it just becomes target practice. Here's what I think of your crappy band.
I'm not sure if they do this anymore. Remember the airplanes that would tow the big signs behind them? I used to see them at the beach. Butchie's Seafood Shack, $19.99 lunch buffet special, and a free wristwatch. I mean, who could pass up a deal like that?
So the next time you're out for the night and you see a Zamboni, a wayward mule, or a homeless person that does not have an ad for CBS Morning Show proudly displayed, lock your gaze and enjoy the serenity, and you may be entitled to compensation. Okay, I can't take any more. Let's play a song. This is the Accused Bullet-Ridden Bodies. Okay, we're talking about Imperfect Foods.
Imperfect Foods is a great grocery delivery service. Anything you could possibly need delivered to your door. They were very consistent with the prices during the whole egg scandal.
Yeah.
They stayed the same. You can get anything that you could possibly want, including things you can't find at the regular grocery store. They also do have the slightly imperfect. We had those really weird sweet potatoes that actually tasted quite yummy. They just looked weird. So that was their initial mission. They've since expanded. We really enjoy their meats. The peri-peri chicken, it came seasoned that way. All I had to do was pop it in the oven and put it over veggetti.
That was good.
Delicious.
Not just cheese puffs, blue cheese puffs.
How about those hot honey nut crackers? The hot honey crackers.
These are snacks that are just, they're not devoured, they're annihilated. Yeah.
We've also found those great chicken jalapeno sticks.
Yeah.
Guilt-free snacking, really tasty.
They're disguised as Slim Jims, but they're not.
And if you just want to get, vanilla, Old Bay, spices, enchilada sauce, bacon, vegetables, fruit, wine, they have it all.
And the portion sizes are highly adjustable. If you want to buy some chicken wings, you don't have to buy 94 and freeze half of them,
And the prices are reasonable. Everything comes, especially the meat, it's all sealed. So you don't have to even have those dumb little styrofoam trays. So use our link and you can save on your first order and you can get your groceries delivered to your door. No need to worry about keeping your reusable shopping bags or chatting up the weird checkout clerk.
Okay, which brings us to Bombastic Plastic.
Bombastic.
And this week, we're going to talk about the brandy new, very exciting, Raven digipak Can't Take Away the Fire, which comes with this nifty patch. Okay, go ahead.
Raven, 15 full-length records, 8 EPs, 4 live albums, 9 drummers, 7 labels, not to mention about 312 busted drum heads, 94 snapped guitar necks, and hundreds of bruised foreheads. They are the very definition of heavy metal lifers, still booking 50 and 70-date tours despite nearly 5 decades of existence, and they've shared the stage with everyone from Korn to Tank to Running Wild.
This nifty little collector's EP entitled You Can't Take Away the Power demonstrates one thing from the very first note. They have not lost a step. John Gallagher's banshee wails are still capable of raining plaster on our heads, while brother Mark Gallagher is still pulling from a seemingly inexhaustible war chest of riffs while dishing out the hyperactive pretzel-twisting lead one after another. Newcomer drummer Mike Heller, ex-Fear Factory, has already logged 6 years behind the kit for Raven, and his rapid-fire double bass style seems to light a fire under these already blazing tracks.
This EP pulls no punches from the first Gatling gun drums of an opener, Black and Blue. It's clear that this trio have honed their jaunty, hard-thrashing style to a lethal edge. No production credits are listed, so fair to assume it was self-produced by the band, which is impressive as Heller's crisp double bass tone is full of punch in this banger packed with stop-start riffs and eardrum-violating wails. Let's play a song. This is Black and Blue.
Power Hungry settles into a mid-pace stomper reminiscent of something like Priest's Free Will Burning, but John Gallagher's vocals and that wild, raw energy that is distinctly Raven make it all their own. His occasional bass noodling coming through warm and potent in the mix, the perfect foil to Mark's high-octane melodic leads. The title track is particularly impressive as the riff tone harkens back to 1985. The tempo and overall vibe very adjacent to something like Take Control from the Bitchin' Years.
As if this package wasn't already tempting enough. I mean, look at that artwork. Rocket packs on spiders? Forget about it. The boys have thrown in a 50th anniversary Ravens patch, as well as a few live tracks for good measure. The Power, from the Metal City album, recorded live back in New Jersey in 2022, delivered at about 1,000 miles an hour. John screaming, "Come on, you fuckers, get your hands in the air, come on!" Like the deafness-inducing master of ceremony he most certainly is. We even get treated to a live version of the classic, Don't Need Your Money, from way back in 1984. The sound is rough around the edges, but pure sweat-soaked energy, like an unearthed bootleg from an era where denim jackets still smelled like stale beer and gasoline. Suffice to say, this mid-80s Amsterdam crowd knows this chorus like the back of their leather and chromed gloved hands.
Yet another example of a band 4+ decades in, absolutely killing it. File it next to the latest goodies from Priest, Sirith, Satan, and the United Brotherhood for Tarantulas with Rocket Packs. This song is called Power Hungry. On to your interview.
This interview is with a friend of the show, Blaine Cook. This is his second interview with us. We had to dive back in. There's been so much activity on the Accused A.D front, as well as Toe Tag and the Wicker Bar, and he certainly does not disappoint. We love you, Blaine. We love his personality. We love his music, and I have never seen someone with more energy.
Take it away.
So I don't think we ever got to hear the story behind how you got your nickname Zippy and how it stuck with you all this time.
And the Duke of the Delridge thing.
Oh yeah, Duke of the Delridge.
Well, the Duke of the Delridge, that just came. The Duke of the Delridge came later. I don't know. Zippy was just one that I don't know. Back when I was in the Farts, I don't know. I think there was some deal where I think Steve Fart was trying to give me a nickname. At first, he was trying to call me Stinky. You know, it's like, no, I can't know. And then I got to be Zippy because I was kind of I had started to get into underground comics at that point in time. So the Zippy the Pinhead, and then there was also a guy up in Vancouver, BC, that was in a band called the Dills, and his nickname was Zippy as well.
Okay.
Which we did end up I ran into him a few years later. I mean, like 82 or 83, and he was okay with us both having the same nickname as Zippy. I was pretty fast. I worked in in restaurants back then, and I was pretty quick on my feet for kicking out the food.
Okay, that makes
And
sense.
the Lord Zippy Blaine thing, I don't know. Somebody gave me a birthday present. There was a card, and I think this was like way back when. I could maybe my 40th birthday, and they said Lord Zippy Blaine. So just a few years later, I took that. I took that, as I so often plagiarize things from other people. And
Mm,
the neighborhood that I live in is the Delridge, so I'm Lord Zippy Blaine, the Duke of the goddamn motherfucking Delridge. I don't know.
yeah,
I kind of like the
yeah,
way it rolls off my tongue.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always liked it. So, who was the famous guy that was in the farts? Was it Duff McKagan?
Duff McKagan, he was in the farts for like 2 months.
Okay.
And the only reason that people know that is there was a farts record that came out on Empty Records, and we put a little sticker on the cover of it that said featuring Blaine from The Accused and Duff from Guns N' Roses. So
Okay.
he joined. We did this farts tour in October of '82, a short West Coast deal that we played a bunch of shows with Discharge. And
Okay.
when we came back, back then things were very, um, really hit or miss. So we came back, and the drummer Loud Fart, he quit or we kicked him out or whatever it was. I'm sure it was something unsavory back then. And then we got we got Duff McKagan to play drums because he was in a whole bunch of bands, really multi instrumental guy. And the Farts have been working on new material. So we took 5 of the songs that we were working on, and we recorded those with Duff sometime in November of '82. And back then, everything, it's when you look back on it, you realize how quickly stuff happened. Um,
Yeah.
Back then, you don't think about it back then. So we recorded this 5 songs with him, and we released those as a cassette called "Survival of the Fittest," and then some of the songs went on a bunch of different compilations, and then in December of 1982, we did a show down in Portland with the Poison Idea, the Farts, another band from Seattle called the Rejectors, and then another band they were friends with the Rejectors, and they were called the Accused. And that's when I first met the guys. Met the guys in the Accused, and then that was the only one time. Definitely played drums that one show, and then later on, and then we changed the name of the band to 10 Minute Warning. We did some shows. They kind of changed the sound. A lot of the songs we already had, um, they kind of changed. They weren't quite as heavy and aggressive. And come April of 1983, they kicked me out of the band, and then we did do one Farts reunion on July 4th of 1983, and Duff played drums on that one, and
Did
that's
you keep in contact with him or?
I had run into him a couple of times. 10 Minute Warning, at that point in time, they never released a record, but then in the very early '90s, they had a different singer, and my wife Rael and I we went to go see him play, and I didn't know they had this different singer, because the singer after me was in prison, and I went to go see him play, and the bass player, he was kind of smug, kind of being a prick to me that night. And I go, so who's singing, and it was this guy. Fuck, I don't remember his name. And and Duff was there, and he was at that point he was working on doing the solo record. So he wrote down his phone number on a pack of matches, and said he wanted me to sing the song on this solo record he was doing. I said, wow, okay, well that's fucking cool. And of course, I tried getting in touch with him, and he never called me back. Then I ended up selling that his phone number to somebody on eBay,
That's great.
and
Good for you. Good for
yeah,
you.
and
Yeah.
I put out that 10 Minute Warning double LP a couple of years ago, and I did talk to him. I got in touch with his cousin, got me in touch with him, and just because I wanted to make sure everybody was cool with me putting it out. And I mean, you know, he's a rock star. I'm just like a little grain of sand on the beach, So yeah.
Look, who was better? Well, since you opened for both back then, Discharge or Poison Idea? Who packed more power?
Um, they were both good. I mean, I
Yeah,
could, and that was a different, that was, Poison Idea. They were, a different lineup, and I think they're a little bit more. Their lineup at that point in time was a little bit more punky than what they would morph into, like a lot of
yeah,
bands did during that mid to later '80s, where bands got a little bit more metallic, and
yeah,
obviously they had Steve the Slayer Hippie was playing drums with them for those couple of
yeah.
records. He was
Yeah.
he was
That's
definitely
amazing.
more of a hard hitter than their original drummer Dean. But yeah,
Yeah, but they had like guitar solos and stuff on their early records. It's like The Accused. It was like, I mean, it kind of was leaning into metal a little bit, even from the early days, I
yeah,
thought.
yeah. I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was thinking, how they have those little plastic figures of like different rock stars. They're kind of goofy
yeah.
looking. So I was thinking we should make one of you, but it should be an action figure. But I wanted to know like what accessories you think you should come with.
I don't know. I'm a pretty simple man. I don't really travel with many accessories. I had a bullet belt way back in the day, and I've had a couple of studded bracelets. But I don't know. I'm a pretty simple, plain Jane kind of vanilla kind of guy, really. So I don't. Yeah.
How about a little suitcase with your mini cocktail supplies in it? I think
I
that'd be
guess
cool.
for what I'm doing right now, yeah. Sometimes we do travel with a little portable bar, a little
Yeah,
little
yeah.
shaker. Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
So I did notice I love the 30th anniversary double LP finally issued on vinyl of the Black Nasties. Kind of what was the catalyst that said, all right, we're going to press it now for the 30th?
That was actually the guitar player Todd, aka Thermo. He had been wanting to do it for a while, and he was going to pay for it. So he kind of the project took about 2 years for it actually. Because he's more of a professional guy, has a real job, and yeah, he did it, and we slowly got the pieces together. Some of the other guys in the band, supposedly had some other recordings because we recorded most of our practices back then, but ultimately none of that. Uh, Nobody had anything, so it was just really just the original recordings from the CD that we put out,
Yeah.
as well as some material that was lifted off of a VHS type tape from a live show we did, and that was about it.
I like the police cover.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, it was that was kind of how the band, I approached, because that was after we the Accused stopped, and this was kind of in between when the Accused stopped and when we did our first reunion, and I had approached Thermo. Everybody calls him Thermo. I still call him Todd. About doing a band. Because I kind of wanted to do just cover songs, because at that point in time in Seattle, bands doing cover songs was kind of like a hip thing, and a bunch of people, there'd be a covers night. You'd have a bunch of bands who would get together and do Black Sabbath songs, or songs by
Mhm.
Heart, or whatever. And I just thought that would be a fun thing to do. And we knew the drummer, Whoopi, Roy Winston, was in a band called Morpheus. So he was a buddy of ours, and then the bass player, Jerry, was in the band, the Rejectors. And then it was just going to be the four of us, and then Jerry brought this guy Brian Fritz along, who ended up being second guitar. But at that point, I didn't know him, but he got invited to the party. So you know, and the
Yeah,
one thing
cool.
the one thing that the double LP doesn't have is, there was on the original CD, there's a comedy bit that's at the end of it, that was done by
Yeah,
a roommate of mine, Akbar.
yeah.
Yeah, I really like
Great.
all that. So it seems like you had a lot of shows last summer, the local, Loud and Local, and the one with Riot. Did you have any standout memories from any of the stuff that went on during the summer?
Oh man, what happened last summer? I, I just kind of go with the flow. I don't know. I'm more like thinking about this summer. Last summer we went down and we did a couple of shows in Sacramento. We did because we went and we played Friday night where we did a toe tag set, and then Saturday night we did the Accused A.D set. Um, what else? Oh, we did. We went and we played Missoula, Montana. That was pretty cool. We did the Redwood Punk Fest. Um, uh, that was pretty cool. It was an outdoor deal, and then after that we played in outside of San Francisco because there's really not a whole lot. Demographically, most of the people have moved out of San Francisco proper, and they're kind of on the outskirts. And I can't remember exactly what the name of the little town was. It's outside of San Francisco, but we did another show with the Boneless Ones and the Infamous Stiffs at this club called the Ivy Room, and the singer for the Infamous Stiffs was the singer for Verbal Abuse after Nikki Sicky Scott. And we had done a bunch of shows as the Accused with Verbal Abuse with that Scott. VA Rocks Your Liver.
Yeah.
Time frame there.
Yeah, there was a time where I think it was my CD wallet in my visor was my two most worn out CDs were um, Return of Martha Splatterhead and VA Rocks Your Liver. I
Yeah,
loved those two records. I wore those out, And I
right.
think Nikki Sicky got back with Verbal Abuse. I think they put out a new album just the end of
Yeah,
last year. Yeah.
they just put one out, and actually we were supposed to play this festival in Maui
Hmm.
last October, and we actually went to play the festival, and yeah, Verbal Abuse was playing, and then the first night that we got there, the festival was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We flew in on Wednesday, and they were having this pig roast and the skateboard competition at the skate park. And then we went back. We had rented a condo that we were staying at, and we got back to the condo and we were walking to the store to go get some beers, and we were walking through the parking lot of the condo, and fucking Alex hit just this little curb. It was kind of more like a wheelchair kind of ramp that went out into the parking lot. He didn't even see it. I don't know. It was not more than 3 or 4 inches tall, and he was wearing boots, so his toe didn't give it all, and he just sees a big tall guy and just went boom, fell right
Oh
down,
no.
fucking broke his elbow.
Ah, yeah.
So we didn't get to play, but we got to go to Maui.
Wow. Yeah, I always put Verbal Abuse and Accused kind of in the same slot, but there weren't many bands like you guys. It would be like the hardcore with the solos, but then always full classic rock covers thrown in. There weren't a lot of
Yeah,
bands doing that back then. Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, really cool.
Can you think of some local bands that you really like that we might not have heard of?
Um, that's a thing. As far as that goes, being playing these Accused songs out live, we get the opportunity to play with like a pretty wide spectrum of bands, because things are so compartmentalized now. Um, Solicitor is a good band. Colony Drop, Valdery, Hell Slot, Land of Wolves. Um, uh, 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 um, there's there's just too many. The bands these days are like so much
Yeah.
better um, than they used to be. I
Yeah.
don't know because everybody, gear is cheaper. I don't know band that everybody's just really really good.
Mm.
Yeah, my latest Seattle obsession is Year of the Cobra.
Yeah,
I
Year of the Cobra.
I was so blown away by their album that just came out. I already have a shirt. I was just like, wow, because at first I thought, because it came to us from the PR people, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it with just bass and drums. I mean, you have to take a Prozac to listen to this, but it's
Mm.
Yeah. We got asked to play their record release show is coming up here, and actually just a couple of weeks, and we were asked to play, but unfortunately we already had something else booked that night, so we didn't get to play.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So your Japan tour, and I saw that you're planning on going back, but the 2023 looked wild. You know, what was the experience like, and what struck you most about the culture there?
Everybody was very, very polite, and that really started from the minute when we checked in here in Seattle. We checked in on our flight, and we flew on I don't know if it was Japan Air or All Nippon, and the women at the it was like wow, everybody was really, really friendly. And there's something that we do when we travel is we bring a bunch of Starbucks gift cards with us, and we give those to all the flight attendants because everybody drinks Starbucks, and they were just like so appreciative of that gesture
Yeah.
that they ended up trying to put together like some sort of gift bag for me, out of just all the different stuff that they had on the plane. And
Yeah.
everybody's when you get everybody that we encountered, they're really, really friendly. um nobody's a fuck up. Everybody's really, 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 really cool. I mean, there were people that were, almost in tears, and especially because we're playing these, most of the places we played, they're really, really small clubs, and you can get away with drinking beer on the street because nobody's making a big mess or breaking bottles or anything, so everything's cool, and they would just, the people, they would see us in the store, and they were just like they just couldn't believe that we're there in the store, buying beer. Yeah, it was just, yeah, the people were just really, really nice, really, really appreciative. The crowds, they weren't really going really, really crazy, but yeah, it was just a really, really wonderful experience. And the people that brought us over, just really, 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 really cool. And we didn't really get to see anything until the last day when we were leaving, because most of the shows start earlier because it's kind of based on the train schedule. Because most people, take the train to go see the shows. So we'd really get up, and we'd have to do sound check at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and generally we'd be playing like at 9. Oh, everybody. So the shows started really, really early because everybody rode the trains to the shows. And yeah, so we'd get up, and we'd load in and do sound check at like usually at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and we'd usually be playing like around 9. And then there was a couple of the shows that we did where they'd throw a party for us, at the end of the show. There was one show that was ending really, really early, and we thought they were doing something else after the show because they were making all this food and laying all this stuff out, and it was for
Wow.
us. And then we
Wow.
did another one where there was this big, big party of this, and God, no, there must have been, I don't know, 50 or 100 people in this restaurant. And it was one of those deals where you got to kick your shoes off, and you're sitting down, and they just kept bringing the food and the beer, and it was just
It's
yeah,
great.
yeah, really great
Well, you
experience.
mentioned you mentioned verge of tears. I mean, I've been driven almost to tears by "I'll be glad when you're dead, you asshole, you." I can't tell you how many times. Come on,
Yeah, right.
No, but seriously, like on a serious note, like, did you actually ever think, um, you're in Japan, and I'm sure they knew the lyrics. They're singing along to like Devil Woman and stuff. Did you ever think that? I mean, like it's got to be crazy,
Yeah, I wish we would have had the opportunity to go over, years ago, and
Yeah.
we're kind of like after, not that we're past our prime or anything. We still get the opportunity. We still get these opportunities, but yeah, it would have been great to have been able to go, back then, in the heyday.
Yeah. Understood.
Did you have a favorite dish that they served you?
We went and had sushi a couple of times that was really good. They actually the 7-Eleven over there is completely different than what is over here, and they actually serve like real food at 7-Eleven
Wow.
over there.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
I had some good katsu and some good ramen.
Yeah.
Everything that I had over there was good. You know, even the
Is the
7-Eleven.
sushi better over there than it is here?
I only had sushi twice, so that's kind of hard to say. I've had, actually I just had some sushi last weekend. That was, some of the best I've had in quite some time.
Okay.
So it's hard to
Gotcha.
say. And they're
Hmm.
I'm kind of pedestrian on the type of fish I'm going to eat. They're eating a lot of stuff over there. It's a little bit more specific and perhaps a little bit fishier than
Than you're
my,
used to, right?
than I'm used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed your grocery store footage from over there too.
Yeah,
What was the biggest surprise about like in the grocery stores, like opposed to here?
Just the quality, the quality of the products, because a lot of countries, they only, you're only going to get, like, we're here in the United States, you get strawberries year round, but it's like it looks like a strawberry but doesn't even taste like a strawberry. Same as like
yeah.
blueberries, you just get this when you're being tricked, and you get them. It's like, but then when you get strawberries when they're in season, it's like, oh man, this is what strawberries taste like. um
Right.
and just the prices of the stuff at the grocery store, um and the exchange rate was really really good when we were there. So I mean, god, this the stuff that you could get, it was really really inexpensive.
That's cool.
That's great. I was also excited to see about your South American tour. I love the poster for that one. Who
Yes.
drew that one?
Oh god, the
The
guy.
people like falling into hell. It's great.
Oh, the falling into hell, that's for that's up for the new record that's coming out. The poster is with the Martha Splatterhead, um holding her arms up, and it's from the Return of, which was a tour shirt that we did a couple of years ago, and that was kind of based on the Judge Death from the Judge Dredd comic
Yeah.
series. And I forget the name of that artist that did that, because he kind of dropped out because he um, wanted to make posters of that art, and then I think he ended up ripping off everybody. So he kind
Oh,
of like he kind of like dropped off, and I lost contact with him.
But you do have boobs, so that's the important thing.
Yes.
so from your posts, it seems like you're still dealing with some ongoing nonsense from a former band member.
Oh
Have
yeah.
you how's your approach to dealing with that shit,
You know,
changed? Yeah.
it we get worked up, and it gets us angry when every time that it happens. And we actually, had a consultation with an attorney last year, and the damage has already been done. We're not going to be able to, get back, when he had the lifeless zone, the fan page removed from Facebook. We're not going to get
Yeah.
back those 5,500 people that were, really active on that page.
Yeah.
And the thing with that page, which really sucked for him to take that down, is we were, and it wasn't my page. I wasn't one of the admins, and but there was like a no bully policy, and there were a couple of guys that would get on there and that would start talking shit, and then a lot of people would get on there and call their shit, and then those guys, they would get booted off the page. But we were promoting the stuff that he was doing, and
So bizarre, yeah.
yeah, and it's it was a really really unfortunate thing, um yeah, for him to do. And right now it's just like it all centers on, you have to have an attorney, because everything that he sends, it's some bullshit letter that he sends. And basically what he's doing is just against us, because there's a lot of other bands that were called the Accused, before the Accused that he was in, before they started. There were other bands called the Accused. There's been other bands since then that have been called the Accused. And you can't trademark a word. So we're not the accused, we're the accused AD. And it's just like every
Right.
bunch of, Venom Inc. or, Entombed AD or whatever, there's other bands that
Right.
have done it.
Right.
And those bands, they're still living off of their music, and that's what they do. For us, we're doing this to have fun, and I don't want to go and spend, $2,000 of our band fund, to get an attorney to write him a letter. It's just like, dude,
Right.
you already,
Right.
the damage has already been done. We're gonna do our thing, and yeah, it's unfortunate, and maybe in retrospect we should have been bigger pricks, and you know, made the stuff stop years ago. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Restraining orders.
or
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, basically, what it is right now, it's strictly harassment. Because even when you're dealing with Facebook, it's like, well, okay, well, we're the accused, and he has a trademark. Well, what about these other bands called the accused that also are on Facebook? It's only
Yeah.
us. And and then when he when we did the when Lamb of God covered that song Inherit the Earth, and we just happened to get asked to play with Lamb of God, and we were doing that song, and and we knew at that point in time, it's like, dude, you changed the songwriting credits on that song, and it's not your song. It wasn't, the music and lyrics weren't
Yeah.
by
Him.
you.
Right.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's just, and yeah, I'm sure that he made, I'm not, probably not a ton of money, not like Poison Idea made when, Pantera covered their song, but I'm
Right.
sure that he, got some cash because that song was on the Burn the Priest, on the LP version that they
Yeah.
did, and it was on the single that they did, and it was released, worldwide, so I'm sure that,
Yeah.
he got some money, and I don't know, it's just, money corrupts, and to sell out your boys, for a handful of magic beans, it's yeah, it's ridiculous. And
But you can record new music as AD. You can play the songs live, little
oh,
stuff drop in
totally.
that,
Yeah. I
right?
mean,
Okay.
that's what, like this last thing that I posted, it's like, because he went and when we did the Japan tour, he's like sending the guy in Japan like these cease and desist things about
Oh
not
my God.
about us playing over there. And the guy in Japan is like, it's like, no, you don't, like, you don't understand. So he sent that note to the guy in Japan, and then he sent it to a guy that runs a website called Goblin House, that he does patches, and does like Halloween masks and costumes and stuff like that. And the guy, the guy at Goblin House has been really really cool to us. He basically gives us the patches for free. So when we
Hmm.
get them, we give them away for free, and he sells some on his website, and it's just like, yeah, it's ridiculous, and he makes money. He claims that, we're infringing on his, it's just because you say that you're the accused, you didn't write those songs. That's everybody. And if you're comfortable, ripping your old friends off and not giving them, their due, that's fine. you know we
We
got to go to
we have
Japan.
a
We're going to go to Mexico. We're going to go to Latin America. We're going to work on trying to go to Japan again. And, guys now are going to Australia and New Zealand. They're going to Korea, China. Those are, their experiences. And, yeah, for us right now, it's just being able to experience the world, and, being offered those opportunities that, guys at our age, you're not going to, we're, if we were religious, we'd say that we're blessed. We're very, very fortunate.
You know what you ought to do to fuck with him? What you ought to do is get get somebody to write a letter that it's from Jodie Foster's attorney for the movie, and she had that before you.
Oh, well, that's what,
And
if you look on the trademark site, it's like, yeah, Sony Pictures has the trademark
right.
on that. I mean, it's just like, it's
And
huge.
he'd be like, oh fuck, Jodie Foster, I can't compete with this money. That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's like, I laid on that pinball machine. You
Mhm.
asshole. You think you got
Yeah.
it rough, So-
Yeah.
We have a friend of the show. She we interviewed her. She does like black metal, kind of this exiled hope, but she's also studying to become an entertainment lawyer.
Yeah.
So she's kind of got both things going on, and she's real cool. I bet she'd write you anything you wanted for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And, that's
copyright stuff and all. Yeah, she's
yeah, and that's yeah, and it's all about money because we have a friend who's an entertainment lawyer, and I I can't tell you who she works with, but sh yeah, she's kind of like way up there in the entity that she works for, and it's like unfortunately she can't you know due to the nature of her job she can't really do anything for us, but yeah. So I mean,
understand.
we know
Yeah.
it's all just ridiculous, but people get this stuff from him, and they just sometimes people flip out, and he said stuff to Jeff Gaither.
Oh my
Um,
god.
we Maryland Death Fest, other just all these people he sends his shit to, and they're just like going, "This guy's fucking off his nut, man. What is this guy thinking?"
So you couldn't do like a vinyl reissue of any of the old Accused stuff because of him, right? Is that off the table or?
I've been actually just recently asked to do that with the Martha Splatterhead EP, so I haven't spoken to the person at that label. Well, on our new record, we cover the song "Martha's Revenge" off of the
Yeah,
Return of Martha Splatterhead. That'll be
gotcha.
coming
Yeah.
out, and we paid. We went through the whole licensing thing and everything, so that's gonna chap his hide. But hey, I mean, it's like we've been
Gonna
playing.
chap his ass. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
Well, as you know, I'm a big Wicker Bar fan. Um,
Let's talk about
yeah,
that.
God, over 600 subscribers that you have on there so far. And Mark and I love that you like make the cocktail live for the first time on camera. And
yeah,
the one I think you did Peter Pan where you were like, it's not even good. We just
yeah,
died
I
laughing.
love the danger element.
Died
That's
laughing.
so great. That
yeah.
it might not be good. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. We do, and we haven't had too many stinkers, but yeah, there's a couple that definitely are not very good.
Yeah.
And I don't get to my wife. My wife has a new job now, so we don't get to make as many cocktails as we used to. But
Gotcha.
yeah, we're still
Yeah.
we're still trying to get one in every couple of weeks. But yeah, I couldn't believe I looked today. It's like, wow, I'm up to 611 subscribers. Yeah,
Isn't it crazy though? I mean, I know you can relate to this, like, because you're on YouTube, so are we, obviously, all every week uploading stuff. Something will take off, and you'll be like, "That's not even that good," and then something that you think is fantastic, people are like, it's all right."
yeah.
Like
I
it
don't.
drives you crazy. It drives you crazy.
Yeah, I don't. I wondered. I mean, usually, I don't get that many views, and then sometimes you can't really tell how many views that you actually get because it's really only ones that you get if you're like watching it on your computer or on your telephone. Me, I've got it hooked up to my projector and I watch it here in the TV room, so that
Hmm.
interfaces differently from YouTube. So I don't think that stuff gets counted. But yeah, sometimes I wonder, it's like, "Oh, why does it? I get 30 views on this one, and well, now I got 300 on this one." It's like, and I try to do all the right hashtags and all this stuff, but yeah, nothing. Yeah,
I also love all your cooking stuff. I'm a huge, getting into this and that. My latest thing is I brine chicken breast and pickle juice, like hot pickle juice, before I
oh yeah,
make the sandwiches and all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Do you have a signature dish that people ask you for, and what's your secret in perfecting it?
Yeah, I don't. My cooking is very much like the cocktails. I don't have one thing that I make all the time. Really. Sometimes I'll go in waves. I was doing kind of more of a Asian thing a couple of years ago. Sometimes I'll do more of an Indian
Oh, wow.
thing. You know, Now I'm just kind of doing something just a little bit more simple, like more, little bit more heavy on the vegetables, a little less on the protein. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
I think on the weekends, our favorite thing, we like to do a steak on the weekends, and it's just the technique of the reverse sear, where you get a good steak. It's got to be at least an inch and a half thick, and you slow cook it in the oven and then you sear it off, and that's if I was to say right now, I guess I do short ribs. If I was to say something, braised short rib, that's something I like. I like to do a lot.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Yeah,
Actually.
I got into like I'll take a recipe and like alter it. Like it was this parsnip soup, but I made it like parsnips and Brussels sprouts, and you roasted the whole thing, and then you put it in the soup, and then I used my immersion blender. It was
right,
great.
right. You get a whole different taste
Yeah.
when you roast those vegetables. Yeah,
I
tonight
used to, when I, yeah.
tonight I'm doing a chicken marsala.
Ooh,
That's what I'm doing tonight.
that
That's
Marcella
great.
line has such a distinct.
When I was in high school, I worked at Sizzler, and I was in charge of the grill. And it would break my heart whenever anyone would ask for a strip steak, like a strip or a porterhouse, well done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So I started butterflying them because it took half the time. I
right.
got a letter from the corporate office that butterflying is not up to Sizzler standards. And I remember saying to my boss, look, I can ruin a piece of meat so much faster this way. I mean, come on. If
Right,
you want to
right,
ruin
right.
it, let's ruin it in 10 minutes instead of 20, but
Yeah,
don't get me started.
I worked for this very.
New leather, no problem.
I worked for this for years. My second job was at a restaurant, and I was the hostess, but I was also in charge of to go. This guy every Friday night would order a filet well, and I'm like,
Ah,
go, and I'm like, one hockey puck coming up.
breaks your
Sure.
heart. Oh,
yeah. I can't even imagine it tasting good.
yeah. Oh gosh. All right.
But
So we
back
play.
to wait. So back to the cooking and the cocktails. So
Yeah,
last year we started doing these things in our backyard, and it's kind of like it's called the Secret Garden, and we have a green belt and a trail that goes by our backyard, and so we do a very limited menu. We do 3 or 4 different kinds of cocktails, and we charge depending on the food and the drinks. It's between $45 and $75 a person, and
I would pay 85.
and then people have to come and they enter. They enter our backyard. And we've got tables set up, and we're all dressed in black. And
that's awesome.
and it's a great opportunity. It's almost like having a party, but it's different because we don't have to. We're interacting with people differently. We're kind of doing it on a more professional level. But that's what we're doing with the food and drink last summer, and we're going to be doing that again here pretty soon.
That's awesome.
Coming
Yeah.
April or May. Our daughter moved back in, so we have an apartment in the basement, and the apartment leads into the bar. So as soon as she's gets out of here and gets her own place again, yeah, we're gonna fire it back up.
You're such a Renaissance man. You really are.
Well, I'm as hands on as I can be. I only work just a little teeny bit right now, so I have to gotta keep myself busy.
Yeah. Okay. So we didn't do this last time. We play a game on the show. It's called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay. And here's how it works. I have 5 band names in front of me. They're all made up except one. So I want you to try to pick which one of these is a real band. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Funeral Spectre, Funeral Candies, Funeral Game Show, Funeral Prom Date, and Funeral Charades. Which one of those sounds like it could be real?
Oh, I'd say Funeral Spectre.
Nope, I made that one up. So that leaves Funeral Candies, Funeral Game Show, Funeral Prom Date, and Funeral Charades.
Jeez. Funeral Candies.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Black metal from the Ukraine. Well done.
Okay. Whew.
I really like Funeral Prom Date. I feel like that could be an Accused title.
Yeah,
Like I
right.
could see that, the font and everything. I could
Right.
actually see that. Yeah. So Funeral Prom Date. Yep. Well done, Mr. Blaine Cook.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
So if you're throwing one of your dinner parties and you could have any 3 historical or fictional guests, who would you have?
Well, geez, I guess I would kind of keep it in a Seattle Pacific Northwest theme. I would go with Chief Seattle, and then I would go with Ivor Hagelin, and Ivor Hagelin was the the man behind Ivor's Fish and Chips here in Seattle.
Mhm.
Then I guess I would have to do Jimi Hendrix, you know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's a Seattle guy as well. If I could get the three of those guys together, I think it'd be great.
What would
Yeah.
you serve?
Definitely not fish and chips. Otherwise, I or clam chowder. Ivor Hagelin would, yeah, I'd have. Geez, well, although you know, Chief Seattle would probably like it if I did some salmon or some clams or something like that. You know, I don't know. My daughter has been talking about this miso soup that had clams and enoki mushrooms. Maybe I'd do
Oh,
some,
okay.
I'd do that as a little starter.
So
I'm not.
back in the early days, did you ever cross paths with members of like Culprit or Metal Church or any of them, any of the other Seattle well-known?
When we were doing 10 Minute Warning, we did a show with Culprit. We kind of were
Okay.
able to get into that metal world. We were supposed to play with Metal Church one time. We didn't. Actually, our drummer right now, Chris Godey, was in a early Seattle metal band called Mistrust. Um, so I get to rub elbows with him. Um, yeah.
I never could tell if I liked Culprit or not, frankly. I mean, they kind of sucked, but they're kind of
Yeah, you
good.
know, there's some of that stuff that back then I didn't care for, but you know, I hear it now, and you know, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. I guess I like it now because my ears, I've just been, you know, my ears have been bombarded with just this harshness for so long. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a little bit more mellow. Yeah, you know,
I
get
think
into
it
it.
was on Shrapnel, I think. The Culprit. I think it was a Mike Varney, I think. I think.
Might have
Anyway,
been, yeah,
might have been, yeah.
yeah. Big TKO was another big one, and Rail.
TKO. Oh, what's the album where he punches the girl out and she's laying on the oh, that'd be a great thumbnail right there. Oh, what's it? Let It Roll or yeah, the TKO album where he's like this and the girl's knocked out. You couldn't be doing that now. You're not
Yeah,
getting away with that now.
no.
Uh,
Yeah, probably not.
no, probably not.
Um, so we love the picture as you as the Playboy Bunny and Rail as Hugh Hefner.
Oh
Were you
yeah.
guys going to a
Great.
party? You didn't have any wardrobe malfunctions, I hope.
No. I did have some latex boobs, but yeah. These are friends of ours, and every year for his birthday, he does a theme. Um, so this year it was the '70s. Last year it was Studio 54, and I kind of had a gold kind of satiny jacket and some kind of gym shorts you would have seen in the '70s, and some of those
I
big white socks, you know, and
Yeah.
yeah, then they had piles of fake cocaine laying around, and
oh my
I bet the best one was well, there was a couple of good ones because he's been doing this. I mean, they've been friends of ours for I don't know almost 30 years, and one year I was Papa Smurf. That was a good one. I was totally covered in blue body paint.
Blue. Yeah.
And then another one was kind of like an 80s theme, and I kind of had some striped spandex. I was kind of the rocker guy, and I had a big sock stuck to my crotch, you know. And
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
his wife, her sister was staying with him, and she comes out of the bathroom, and she looks at me and she's going, "Oh my God, what has this guy got going on down there?" It's like,
He's got armadillos in his trousers. Yeah.
yeah.
I love
Mm.
it. So I know you're planning a lot of tour stuff. Any chance we can lure you out here to the East Coast or maybe Maryland Death Fest again?
God, I wish we could do Maryland Death Fest. And the closest we're getting, we're going to go out and we're doing a couple of things. I think we're doing Chicago and a couple of things in Wisconsin and Louisville, Kentucky. We're doing that in August with this band Retox AD because we have this new record coming out. We're doing a split with Retox AD, and they're a Wisconsin band. Um, You know, I suppose we could probably do Baltimore because my sister-in-law, she has a club in Baltimore called the Outtro Bar.
Oh
We
my
were just there.
gosh. Yes, we were just there. Who did we see?
Thou.
We saw Thou there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I should.
That's very cool. I didn't know that you were part of the Otto Bar lineage. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tekla and Kurt. Yeah, yeah. Tekla,
Yeah.
she owns it. Yeah, yeah. We played out there. I don't know, in like 2017. We did a show there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was, by the way, I was wearing your shirt.
Yeah.
We went out to see at we were at the depot. And some guy actually came up to me. He said, "That's a very unusual shirt for this coast." And I think I was drunk enough. I went, "Oh, well, Blaine sent it to me." So,
You were name dropped.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
that was great.
Yeah.
So, if you could form a supergroup with any musicians, living or dead, who would be in your group?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'd have to bring back the Slayer hippie. I'd have to bring back the Slayer hippie to play drums.
Mhm.
Jeez. God, God, you have these questions that are too far out there for me. Yeah, Slayer hippie on drums. I'd have to have well, I'd have to have Bones from Discharge playing guitar.
God. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd get Alex Maggot-Brain. He plays second guitar, or they could switch off. Hmm. Jeez. I don't know. You guys are killing me here.
You need a bass player. Come on, pick one.
Bass player.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'd get Duff McKagan to play bass, and
Okay.
and and well, I guess we get the guy from the David Johansen. You know, he could come down and sing with us.
Yeah.
Oh,
That makes sense. Yeah.
so you're working on new music?
Yes, we did. We recorded way back in May, and then it took a little bit longer to get everything coordinated because we're doing a split record with another band, so that just took a little bit longer. And yeah, everything's at the pressing plant. Test pressings have been everything's okay. The cover's done. The insert is done. They were just waiting for the center labels to get back from the printer, and then we were going to get in line to get it pressed. So hopefully,
let me know when it's out. We'll review it on the show. Absolutely. Yeah.
yes, yeah. Hopefully it'll be out. Hopefully it'll be out by May, and yeah, we're gonna do the publicist. You know, you got to hire a publicist now. You know, to make sure you get it out to all the
Right.
all the different outlets. And yeah, I've got just contacted a guy this afternoon that offered to do us a video with us. So hopefully we're gonna make that happen, and we got a couple of months to put it together.
Pretty awesome.
I got to say that looks like a newish creator shirt. Are you into the newish stuff?
It's yeah, I like it. I mean, obviously, it's not as good as the first stuff, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I love Creator. You know, the German thrash metal. You know, I got a chance to see Sodom play back in October. Went down to the California Death Fest.
That's great.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, Creator's a little more Amon Amarthy now, but I still like the new stuff. I still like it.
Yeah.
I think it's good. You gotta admire the legacy he's built. Boy, some of those records in the '90s, whew, he took some chances.
Yeah,
Metal was all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
The sounds of decay!
Okay, Sounds of Decay 1.
This is Sepulchral Curse with Crimson Moon Evocations. From the land of saunas, the northern lights, and with vowels with umlauts, comes the Finnish blackest death metal 5-piece, Sepulchral Curse with Crimson Moon Evocations. This is their third full length since forming back in 2013. The album offers 7 new songs spanning a cozy 40 minutes, packed with the band's signature sonics, grandiose melodic segments, gorgeous guitar harmonies, dramatic solos, and violent blast-beating fits, as well as lyrics of sinister nighttime rituals, ominous deities, and the annihilation of the known universe.
Just to name a few things. Guitarist Jaco Ramaki and Alexei Luka have a penchant for settling into truly devastating mid-paced riffs. Longtime Finnish engineer Tommy Usutupa delivers an immaculate mix. Guitars dancing up front, double bass punishing but balanced, bass warm and audible, vocals pushed back for a percussive growl. And that artwork, it captures the album's beauty in reds and purples so vividly, even Bob motherfucking Ross couldn't have done it better.
House of the Black Moon is a prime specimen. Bombastic double bass eruptions from drummer Johannes Rentala spars with swooning guitars to kickstart the track with deftly cycles through hook-heavy processional segments and evil fits of speed. The weeping guitars perfectly accenting the chorus. Shadows entwined at the House of the Black Moon. Darkness gathers here at the House of the Black Moon.
Let's play a clip from House of the Black Moon. These guys can weave tension like the true masters of the genre. Empress of the Dead is another stunner. Low-end riffs thundering, Rantala pounding out octopus-like punishment, tempo slowing for the witchy ballet of the twin guitar oscillations of the Merciful Fate variety. Finally, there is Beneath the Dismal Tides, one of the most intense tracks presented here, kicking off with slow-building crunch fest that steps into violent segments of blast beats and thrashy snare eruptions before uncorking the best riff on the entire album around the track's midpoint, augmented by a perfectly executed Slayer circa 86 melody that simply has to be heard to be believed.
You know what to do. Get over to Dark Descent and grab a copy of this beautifully dark and macabre record. Looks like copies of the red vinyl versions are still available. To quote the band, "Stay cursed. Onward the legions." I couldn't have said it better myself. If you like your death metal, cinematic, brooding, and seething with blackened grandeur, this is essential listening. Think Behemoth at their most majestic, or Sulphur Aeon with extra teeth. Let's play a clip. This is Beneath the Dismal Tides.
Okay, Sounds of Decay 2 is the new album from Kosuke Hashida, Outrage. Honestly, it's time we give Mike Giuliano his proper dues. As the mastermind behind the horror, pain, gore, death label, the guy is practically a bloodhound for underground brutality. He's proven to be a gentleman and a scholar, showing his knack for finding the best brutal music from around the globe, whether it's Swedish death metal, blackened speed metal, or crushing groovy doom death. The man comes through with quality sounds and kick-ass artwork time after time. The latest t-shirt worthy release. Seriously, I already ordered the shirt. It's from the one-man Japanese grindcore artist Kosuke Hashida, and it's entitled Outrage.
Kosuke Hashida is no rookie. He's torn through Japan's World End Man, wrecked faces in LA's The Cauterized, and in 2024, he went full madman, launching his one-man grind warpath with Justifiable Homicide. Now he's back with Outrage, 17 minutes of unrelenting riff-fueled savagery. The album itself may be over in the time it takes you to fill your gas tank, a whopping 17 minutes. But trust me when I tell you, These short tracks are packed to the gills with searing riffs and crushing breakdowns. It's the oral equivalent of being pulled out of your car and beaten by an angry mob.
An angry mob. Need examples? Check out Corruption of Faith, a track that launches itself on a heavy D beat and form crush and wastes no time dispensing glorious speedball blasts, buttressing Hashida's crusty bark before offering up mosh-friendly dissonant harmonies a la Pig Destroyer. Check it out. This is Corruption of Faith.
Strangulation is another stunner that tears from the speakers like a rat trapped in a dryer before stutter stepping into all manner of carcass-style chromatic riffing, dizzying blasts, and sonorous roars. This ripper never lets up, perhaps best evidenced in Legitimate Murder, which clocks in at a proggy 2 minutes 14 seconds, cycling through all manner of oral punishment, deftly changing riff patterns and pounding drums into a vicious gel.
Suffice to say, another spectacular find courtesy of HGPD. It's the type of album that demonstrates an artist does not need 6 or 7 minutes to pack several fantastic riffs or changes into a song. A perfect specimen for the ADHD generation of punk and metal fans, and a must-hear for fans of Assuck, Nails, or any of the aforementioned bands. Buy or die. This is Legitimate Murder. Okay, Sounds of Decay 3.
This is 16 with Guides for the Misguided. I like a lot of different genres, but it occurred to me halfway through the Maryland Doom Festival that doom and sludge metal resonate with me on a deeper level.
Meanwhile, I was hiding in the knife store because it was so hot. They had air conditioning. Could you show me that one, please? Anyway, sorry.
They settle into my brain and just roll around in there. The best bands in the genre spin a web of percussion so thick you can feel it throb against your sternum, while simultaneously compelling you to wag your shaggy head or even throw in a hip switch and yell out a hell yes. By the time those low growly guitars kick in, I'm a goner. 16 has all that and a massive bag of riffs on this, their 10th full-length release as a SoCal 4-piece. They mix in heavy rock elements and a varied vocal style, shifting from a ragged horse yell to a still gruff but much cleaner delivery. Could they tick off any more boxes for me? Well, tickle me pink, they sure do.
Heavens to Betsy. Lyrically, Guides for the Misguided explores the many ways people are led astray by addiction, religion, cults, or even just intrusive thoughts of the murderous and suicidal variety. I mean, that pretty much describes my weekend television favorites. There's also some dark humor in the song titles. But wait, there's more. Now how much would you pay? The first track that sunk its teeth into me was Hat on a Bed. Now, any Yellowstone fan knows that a hat on a bed is a bad omen. Best case, bad luck. Worst case, impending death. The track kicks off with Dion Thurman's rat-a-tat drum rolls, while Barney Firk's briskly moving bass line surfaces again and again like an undertow. The frantic drums provide the perfect foil for the slow, stalking bass vibrato, and Bobby Ferry's gruff snarl is full of affront as he spits lines at an addict. Never again, and more of the same. Later, it seems like the addiction has just been shifted from substances to faith. The Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost are your weakness. Again and again. The guitars bounce between tremolo, rapid fire, and slow, lurching menace. Here's a little bit of what we're talking about. Check out Hat on a Bed.
Beyond addiction, all the same. All superstition, history repeats itself, attentions and control.
Blood Atonement Blues. Who hasn't been there? Okay, maybe just the Mormon fundamentalists. If you're one radicalized Avril LeBaron away from doom, this track will speak to you. It opens up with eerie piano notes that, for a split second, had me think they were about to go full total eclipse of the heart on us. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and I take another wife.
Oh, okay.
That illusion shatters quickly as the notes turn discordant, settling in an ominous tone. From there, caterwauling guitar power notes ring out over Thurman's slow, doom-laden drum falls. The vocals are cleaner here, but still have that gravelly, whiskey-soaked grit. Ferk's deep-rolling bass locks in with the drums, getting your head bobbing before the guitars crunch up for the chorus. When Ferry belts out the second repeat of "The Devil Claims You," like a modern ruse, wipe the smile off your face. You'll be gleefully shouting along. Then, out of nowhere, jaw-dropping harmonies rise from Ferry and Schuster, floating over the dark undertow of bass and drums that start and stop fitfully.
Resurrection Day features a meandering bass line as thick as a Wendy's Frosty, drenched in apocalyptic reverb. Over that, Ferry's growled vocals drip with derision as drums pulse out a slow, deliberate pound, mercilessly hammering cymbals along the way. The verses are tense, with quick low bass notes and precise drum hits amplifying the scorn in Ferry's delivery. Then a shimmering interlude emerges, soft cymbal taps, layered whispers, and moans floating in eerie isolation before Ferry's rough wail shatters the quiet. Slow harmonies ring out, only for all the tension to surge back full force. The track Thanks and Praises tag teams between two distinct modes. One moment, a snaking bass line slithering through mid-paced drum slams and tight riffage. The next, the guitars taking off like a banjo player on cocaine. It's an exhilarating back-and-forth ride.
Fire and Brimstone Incorporated might be my favorite track. It wastes no time getting straight down to business with a kick drum that will have your foot tapping involuntarily. A brief moment of harmonies gives way to a relentless verse built on descending three-chord patterns that sync up perfectly with the vocals. Meanwhile, the infernal bass churn grabs you by the front of the shirt and does not let go. For the chorus, Ferry growls out over slugging percussion that'll have you clapping your hands over your head. Dance all you want tomorrow. Today we'll really sin. If that wasn't enough, a gorgeous noodly guitar solo soars over emphatic stop-start drum smacks before we get the hooky chorus 2 more times, now layered with even sharper harmonies.
Over their 35-year history, 16 has flirted with calling it quits, almost throwing in the towel in 2004, and has cycled through a dizzying number of lineup changes. I mean, dozens of people spontaneously combust each year, it's just not widely reported. But with Ferry back at the helm and a stable lineup since 2017, plus the momentum they've built over the last 4 albums, starting with Lifespan of a Moth, this time the grit and veteran know-how just might pay off in spades. I, for one, am fully trapped in their dark web of kick-ass sludge. Let's close it out with Fire and Brimstone Incorporated.
I came here believing in nothing. You reaffirm my faith. If life it lasts forever, continue to run away. Run away.
I said knock who out? I'm so confused.
All these violence over cookies.
Is a urinal really the best place to put your band's logo? I think not.
I actually even saw like a public service announcement in an airport that said, if you are a victim of human trafficking, call this number. If you're a victim of human trafficking, do they think you have your own cell phone? This has been the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Special thanks to the Lord, Zippy Blaine, for appearing on the show. Long may he reign. Snaggletooth theme by Gustav Jord of the Fleshed. Sounds of Decay theme by Steve Rathbone of Lair of the Minotaur. Season 3 artwork courtesy of James Spooner. Sounds of Decay bands featured are 16, Kosuke Hashida, and Sepulchral Curse. All content 2025. Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast.
Tired of these ads just popping up everywhere. I'm not dealing with it anymore. Oh well, what the hell?
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.